What's up YouTube? Poplar Mechanic here. Today we're in the shop and we are going to be doing a chipper knife change or flip on a BC 1500 chipper. Before we get into that, I just wanted to show you the little maintenance things I had to fix up today. Let's get right into it. Alright guys, so I got two BC 1500s. This one over here is the newer one. Sorry, just grabbed my light here. So we were using this one on site on Thursday, and this hose let go. It's kind of tough to see there, but it's down in that hole. It was just must have been rubbing against the frame and finally just blew up. So I'm just thankful it's not under these rollers, because that could be a real pain in the ass. Turns out it's this hose right here, so it runs down from here all the way under the frame like we just saw, and then right to the pump on the motor. So I'm actually quite happy about that. Obviously we're gonna have to fill up the hydraulic oil because we lost pretty much all of it. So I decided to switch to this chipper here. Not a big deal. So some of the maintenance things I had to do on this. So this little breakaway cable right here coming from the, it's just a breakaway, it just locks up the brakes. Well, I took it out because the other chipper needed one as well. For some reason I only have one. And then what happened is those pieces contacted and they drained the battery. So I got the charger on it, and this one actually might need a new battery. I'm not sure. I'm gonna trickle charge it for a couple days here, and hopefully it works. And that is the problem, because I hooked up a deep cycle there and it fired right up. And then other than the battery, these are the two old filters. I have an inner and an outer. I put those in. And then when I was in here, I noticed, I looked down in here, and you can see that fuel filter down there. It was leaking diesel, not a lot, but enough. You can see it's all wet down there. So I didn't actually have another one. I don't have time to get one because it's the weekend. So I just took it apart and put some new, there's a couple little O-rings, and I believe it was leaking out of one of those. I put it back on, and when I ran it, it seemed good. So hopefully that fixes that. And then when I was under there changing that fuel filter, or fixing it, I looked up and noticed that we had a pile. This thing was just covered in sawdust, this hydraulic filter, and you can see it's been leaking down all that collected sawdust. So this thing was loose. So, just a minor thing you wouldn't see because the cover was on, but when I got under there I did. So I went ahead and I tightened that up, which was pretty awesome. So I'm sure that's going to fix that. If not, we'll get a new hydraulic filter, not a big deal. And then when I was in here, I was having a look at these, the belts here. Sorry about that, I was just adjusting the flashlight. And they're getting pretty dry. Now this doesn't look too bad yet, but you just wait. There's a spot in here that's just brutal. Couple chunks missing right there. See, it might be sort of tough to see on the camera, but yeah, it's a massive just chunk missing out of there. So luckily I found an old one. It's got to be years old because I don't even remember ordering it. And here it is, brand new, so I'll probably slap that on tomorrow. Anyways guys, I didn't want to waste your time. I just wanted to show you the maintenance stuff I had to do. We're going to go ahead starting from scratch, and we're going to flip these chipper knives. Okay guys, so the first thing we're going to do, we have 4 bolts on this cover plate. Mine are 16 millimeter or just under, but the 16 mil works. But keep in mind yours might be different because I did have to replace these. So I just have a little impact for this. We're going to go ahead and remove those right now. Very simple and fast. And then once you remove those 4 bolts, you're going to go ahead and you're going to open up this cover. Okay guys, and when we open up this cover, you're going to see your anvil, and then you're going to see the knives bolted on. Now they're held on by 3 24 millimeter bolts, okay? And there's only 2 of them. So you'll have one here, and then you'll have one on the other side of the anvil. So before you start, you might notice that these blades have two edges. Okay, you can see that this one's chipped pretty badly here, and this other side is actually new, but sometimes from running them, debris can still get the edge. But even though it looks like it's got some pits in it, it's actually still quite sharp. So we're going to go ahead and flip them. Another thing I like to do is I have a pick set, and you'll notice a lot of debris gets trapped around these bolt heads. So what you're going to want to do is pick that out, and I also have the air gun so I can just blow it out. You're just going to want to make sure that your 24 mil socket fits on there perfectly, okay? So once you have it in this position and you're ready to work, before you can do anything, they have a little lock mechanism here on the side, okay? So it's just a spring-loaded thing, and all it does is you push it and turn it, and it locks that anvil into place so it can't roll when you're working on it. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the picks and the impact, and we'll get started. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I cleaned out around the bolt heads. I made sure that it's securely locked into place. It can't move back or forth. And now we're going to go ahead, and I have a snap-on impact here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to loosen these and take them right out. Just like that. It's very fast with an impact. Sorry if I was shaking you guys a little bit. I got you clamped to the, the hood here. So you can go ahead and you can just take those right out. And you know, if both sides are dull, this is when you'd change them. But we're just going to go ahead and flip them. And one more thing I wanted to point out, when you take these out, you'll see sometimes there's stuff caked on them like that. I just go ahead and scrape all that off. Okay, so I'm going to do that now, and then I'll show you how to put the knife back on. Okay guys, so I went ahead and scraped this, and then I actually took it a step further and used the wire wheel, just because these ones had some really caked, sappy stuff on there, and just cleaned up that mating surface. Another good tip you can use, now keep in mind it's not like they're going to fall out, it's just good practice to, I take this scraper and just clean this off, and then I'll hit her with a little bit of air to get rid of that little debris before we set the knife down. Just like that. That'll be good in this case. Alright, so we can see the damaged end of the knife there, so that's not the side we want down. We'll actually flip it over just like this because the knives spin this way, okay? So another quick tip here, just give me 2 seconds, I'll show you another tip for this. Is applying some of this copper coat, or it can be called copper tone. It just prevents these bolts from rusting and stuff, and I can see that these already have a nice coating from last time on them. It just prevents them from seizing, and especially if you're in wet climates or you have to park your stuff outside, it's a really, really good thing to use. So this part's fairly important. We're going to go ahead and we're going to hand start these, okay? You don't want to start them with the impact, because if you cross thread them, you're going to be mad. So I like to turn them quite a ways down by hand, make sure they're all started. And then once you know you've got quite a few threads in there, you're going to grab that impact. Now, I like to start with the middle one. It's the one you should start with, so we'll go ahead. And we'll just tighten them till they're down. And then I like to hit them a little more with this. There, just to give them that extra snug. Now this next part is critical, okay guys? So you're gonna need a torque wrench, and believe me, we've actually had guys use the impact on these, and one of these knives came out and caused a bunch of damage in the chipper. So you're going to want to torque these to 210 pounds. So I'm going to grab the torque wrench and then I'll show you how that's done. Okay guys, so now we have it set to 210 foot-pound torque. I'm going to use this extension. I actually had a shorter one. A shorter one can be a little bit easier to manage, but this will do. So we're gonna go ahead and set it on, okay? And it can be helpful to have another worker or somebody kind of hold it into place, because 210's a lot. Okay, we're just gonna get situated properly here. Okay, that should do. So there we go. Once we hear that click, you know they're at 210, and it's a lot of force. So just like that. And I mean, my snap-on impact will pretty much do 210, but you always want to check them. This one's being... There we go. Okay, so there we go, 210 foot-pound torque. And this one's ready to go. So the damaged end is now up here, and we've got the sharp side on this side. Okay guys, well there's not a lot of sense of me showing you the other side because it's the identical to this side. Just make sure you torque them to that 210. A little bit of copper tone goes a long way, especially if you park your stuff outside. But to get to the other side, you're just gonna go ahead and release that locking pin. Okay. And you're gonna keep rolling, just be careful with your hands in there, and then you can see we're to the damaged blade again. So we'll have to go ahead, lock it in, and then do the same process on this side. All right guys, I know we've been doing a lot of you know, shop stuff and maintenance stuff and tutorials lately. We got a lot of big exciting trees coming up, some nice big climbs. So we're gonna have some pretty exciting content coming out this year for sure. I'm just trying to stay consistent, getting a video for you guys every Sunday. And you know, it's interesting to learn. And I mean, I'm sure if you own a 1500, you know how to change them, but you never know. Some people might not. So thanks for watching today's video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.